Well, we're going to talk football now. This Thursday will be the Packers' last preseason game before the regular season begins.
Today, a closer look at the QB position, the past and the present. Our next guest wrote this book. It's called Leaders of the Pack, and in it, he says, Green Bay's quarterbacking trio of Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and now Aaron Rodgers is the best in NFL history, and I agree. Rob Reischel joins us now with more. Did I say it right?
Reischel?
Reischel. You're very, very close.
Okay.
What's up?
It's not the easiest one.
You want to talk Packers?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up with you?
Let's talk Packers. I love your book.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to write.
Was it?
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here it is, right here.
Brett Favre was extremely helpful with the project. Aaron was very helpful with the book.
Awesome.
Bart's not in the best of health, obviously.
Right.
So he and I have talked a million times through the years. So I used a lot of my older material with the Bart Starr chapter. But Ron Wolf was extremely helpful, the old Packers general manager. A lot of former NFL greats and executives who have seen all these guys play. Current former Packers who helped me put those chapters together. And really just a lot of guys in the NFL who have seen a variety of these quarterbacks play, helped me kind of compile the list of the best trios of quarterbacks ever. And then when you really break it all down, guys, the Favre, Rodgers, Starr triumvirate really trumps everything.
I had to learn how to spell that.
Yeah, me too. Thank God we have spell check now on the Macs. But when you line them up and you break it down and take three from every franchise, I mean, the people in this state, Packer fans in general, are unbelievably fortunate they've had this trio of quarterbacks, because there's a real separation between Green Bay's three and any other three that exist inside another franchise.
Well, and let's talk about Favre for a second, because Denise and I were kicking this around a second ago. Do you feel like he's been welcomed back home? He's in the Hall of Fame now, the Packers Hall of Fame. An incredible athlete. Do you feel like this sort of completes a circle a little bit for him, gives him a little piece? Do you think it's changed him, that we've kind of opened our arms in Wisconsin and had him come back home?
I really do. Anybody that was, at Lambeau Field 5 Saturdays ago for Favre's homecoming and the welcome back celebration,
it was awesome.
I think would have seen it. I know your own Lance Allen hosted it and did a sensational job. It was a remarkable night. I mean, 70,000 people filling that place and screaming and yelling like it was a playoff game and a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. I'm telling you, the passion that night for him was on a par with a big game.
Yeah.
It really was.
It was cool.
And I think that genuinely did move him. A lot has been said and written about the various stages and personalities of Brett Favre that exist, but I think the one we saw that night really was just the true emotion one, a guy who was moved, a guy who was welcomed back where he wants to be, really where he belongs.
Right.
I think it was kind of a healing night, too, just for the fan base in general. We've had a real separation, I think, the last 7 or 8 years in this state. Brett or Aaron, what side are you on?
Yeah. And you don't have to choose.
You don't. You had them both in the primes of their careers. I think we can all agree now the Packers made the right choice moving on when they did move on. Aaron was ready.
It
was extremely hard in the summer of 08.
Yeah.
You're right, Denise. It was extremely, that was a insane summer. But I think for Brett, it was a remarkable night. And again, I think for the fans, now it's just behind him and everyone can start, looking forward to his induction into Canton, which is the Pro Football Hall of Fame next summer, and just the various times Brett Favre comes back to Wisconsin for a variety of things.
Yeah, I think everyone was just mad at him. And now we've forgiven him. That's the way I look at back those years.
Right.
But he's the only time in sports history that I've ever cried is when he retired, and I have no explanation for that, why I got so moved by that. I think it's because I thought we had something so special in Green Bay with Brett Favre. Look where he took us. All those years we got wound up in all this excitement, and it turned out that it was awesome with Aaron Rodgers, but I remember thinking we'll never have that again. With what we had with Brett Favre, we will never have again, and thankfully we have it again.
Well, I'm not sure you'll ever have it again, though, from the perspective or the standpoint of the way a guy plays the position.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron's almost robotic in his remarkable execution on the field. He's almost surgeon-like. He carves defenses up, but he's almost just robotic about it. he is like a surgeon, picking defenses apart. Brett plays like he's a 10-year-old boy on the playground.
I was just going to say, he's
and
like
that's what
Messi.
people love.
He
really
gets
is.
dirty, takes the hits hard.
Drive by this week, to a local playground as school start again, and watch the 12-year-old boys playing football and rejoicing after every touchdown. That's how he was, lifting Donald Driver up, running around the field, throwing snowballs at teammates.
Yeah, cracking jokes.
Exactly. And then, on top of it all, the guy just never missed a game. 275 straight starts inside Green Bay, counting playoffs. I mean, who does that anymore? Nobody. That's Brett Favre has almost every record that exists. At least he did when he left the field from a numerical standpoint,
including interceptions. Right?
You got it, Molly. Including interceptions. Yeah. The one that will not get caught, I think, and as the game, transforms into this next generation where everything is predicated on passing the football. Guys like Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck and Aaron Rodgers are going to pass Brett on a lot of these records. None of these guys are going to play almost 300 straight games, though, like he did.
I totally agree with you. If you have to pick between the three, who's your pick?
That's what I was going to ask.
Well,
I grew
up on Brett. I grew up on Brett.
You like
so
Brett
I mean,
too?
there's I won't lie. There's a certain level of bias there. I mean, he provided a remarkable amount of sports highlights and memorable moments for me. If I had to win a game, I would probably start with Brett, but it's hard. Bart's 9-1. Bart was 9-1 in playoff games.
Bart Starr,
I mean, that's unbelievable.
We haven't said much about him, but he was awesome too.
He had an incredible team around him, but again, he was such a thinking man's quarterback, and he beat people with his brain as much as his physical gifts. Aaron's career is still being written. He's only 7 years in as a starter.
I was going to say, he's still got time.
My answer could change here in 3, 4, 5 years if Aaron has another Super Bowl or two. But as of right now, I will go with Brett.
Awesome. It's a great book. It's a fun time to talk about it too, with the last preseason game coming up and the regular season right around the corner. People can find you on Twitter and find your book. It's called Leaders of the Pack. It talks about the threesome. What was that word that you said too earlier?
Triumvirate.
Triumvirate. I got to look that up. You can go to Twitter.
We'll spell that for you.
I like it. Go to @Rob Reischel, and there's the spelling right there on your screen, so you can find him on Twitter and find out more about his book.
And Molly, it is out in all bookstores and all your Amazons, and triumphbooks.com is the publisher, and you can find it on their website too. So
always great to see you.
Come
back as the season goes on. We'll talk more.
Anytime, you know that.
I like it. Thank you so much.